Welcome to the basic menu content tutorial video for Mega Menu. In this video, we're going to cover how to populate the content in your menu, as well as a few other features like the info bar and the call to actions. So to get started, we'll have a look at the sitemap. I mentioned this briefly in the previous video. This is how the dynamic menu is generated from pages in your site. You can have pages nested underneath other pages, nested underneath other pages. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to refer to the top level pages as level 1, the pages underneath that as level 2, and the pages underneath those as level 3. Now let's put the block into edit mode. We're going to take a look at how the navigation pages are selected. This is mainly done in the Nav Menu tab. So looking at these fields, I'll explain them. The first one is if you choose to hide the home page. You might not want the home page because perhaps you have a logo or some other reason not to show it. Then generally most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, the rest of the settings you can usually leave as they are, unless you're trying to deliberately make a menu for a small portion of your website. But for 95% of websites, that's not the case. If you did want to change, you can choose here the level at where it starts, either under a particular page or second level, third level, and so forth. You can choose whether you want to display all subpages, which it is, and how many levels down you choose to go. These fields are kind of based on the auto nav block. That's part of the core of Concrete CMS. And you can choose here how the pages are ordered, either by sitemap, reverse sitemap order, the newest ones, the oldest ones. Most of the time, sitemap makes the most sense. And you can choose whether or not to show pages that will require the user to log in, such as member-only pages. Underneath that, we've got a preview of the kind of pages that are going to be shown in the dynamic menu. And if you need to refresh it manually, there's a button for that by default. If you have the checkbox checked there, it will automatically refresh the preview. If you've got a very large site with many, many pages, that refresh process can slow it down. You can turn this off optionally. Okay, let's have a look at the attributes next. Let's head over to the sitemap. And here, this is where you can set your attributes. To give you an idea, these are the attributes that are used by Mega Menu. These ones here are the custom attributes that are created once you install the add-on. And these ones are the core attributes that either come pre-installed or they're supported directly by the core of Concrete CMS. You can find this under the user guide documentation on the C5 Extras website. So I'll go through these quickly. The hide children from Mega Menu mean that the pages underneath a specific page will no longer be shown. The Mega Menu page icon, which many people will use, is a small image you can choose to pull from the file manager and display it next to the page on the menu. There's room for a small page description. And if you wish to make a page stand out on the menu, you can highlight it using this attribute. If you want to manually select the color of a page, which I've done in my example, you can do it with this attribute called Mega Menu Page Color. If you're setting access keys, which we'll cover in a later video, these are keyboard shortcuts. You can choose letters there from A to Z. And if you wish to apply a divider within the sub-navigation menu, before or after a page, you can use this particular custom attribute. These are the core attributes that are supported. Exclude from nav means that that particular page will not be shown in the Mega Menu. It also won't be shown in the auto nav block. You can choose to exclude subpages from the nav. The reason why this is separate from the hide children is because there might be some in a fringe situation where someone wants the auto nav block to hide the children, but the Mega Menu not to, or vice versa. So that way those two things are similar but separate. You can choose to not link a page in the navigation menu for some reason if you wish to do that. You can replace the link with the first sub-navigation link. Some cases where you might not want people to go to the parent page. You can replace the link with the parent, which is the opposite, going the other way around. If you want to style your page, your menu items with a unique CSS class, if you're familiar with CSS, you can give it a unique class for a particular page. You can set the target to open, say, in a new window, or if you've got frames in your design, you can use that, and then a thumbnail. Here's a screenshot of what the attributes looks like. We're going to head over there. So let's have a look at corporate. We click on that and choose attributes. You can see attributes here, and then anything that we want to select on this side relevant to the mega menu, such as the page description, page color. We're going to replace it. These are the attributes we just talked about. Page icon, for example. So let me choose that. I'll choose one from the file manager. Here we go. Here we've refreshed it. And corporate. The first link underneath here has got an arrow icon next to it. So to give you an idea, this is a simple menu. There's just one page after another. These are all the second level or L2 pages underneath about. To see what that looks like in the sitemap, we'll find the about page, and you can see those there. In this case, the blog page also has pages underneath it, but we have chosen to hide those pages because we don't want to show every single blog post in the drop-down menu here. For the organization, this is an auto mega menu, which means that level 2, these ones here, corporate, executive team, community, investors, human resources, and distributors, is shown, as well as level 3, such as core values, company mission, and so forth. To give you an idea of how that looks in the sitemap, here is the organization, here's corporate, core values, community mission, executive team, so forth. Okay, so I'm just jumping back and forth with the sitemap. Some of these pages have been custom formatted so you can see what mega menu is capable of. For the example, the page called supported causes, it has an icon and a small amount of text underneath that. Let's see. If we click on that, choose attributes, you'll see here the short page description as well as the page icon. So between distributor benefits and request free samples, there is a divider between those. So I'll look for the distributor benefits, click on that one, the attributes, and again, we're looking for the custom attribute here, mega menu subnav divider, and it's been set below. You can choose to also set the divider above the particular menu item. So this is an auto mega drop down. Later videos will cover the extended menu in more detail. We won't cover that just yet. Next, we're going to have a look at the logo, image, and text. In this case, we've got both an image and text, and I'll show you how that is set. Okay, when we edit the block, we go to layout and then logo image, and you can choose one or two image files from your file manager. The default one is the light mode, and the second one is dark mode if the device dark mode has been enabled. You can choose to set an alternative text, which helps screen readers as well as for SEO reasons. You can set the image height and the width if you choose, and you can decide if you want the logo to be linked to the homepage. There's a few more pieces of information here, some useful tips explaining how it works. If you happen to choose an image like a PNG, a GIF, or a JPEG, and you manually assign a width and height that are not the native ratio, then it'll give you a warning saying you're skewing the image, and it'll give you a suggestion to automatically switch it to the correct size. But you've got a lot of control and flexibility here, how the image is shown. It's deliberately designed so that you should choose either a height or a width, preferably a height, so that there is not a significant cumulative layout shift, which is an aspect of SEO that Google looks at when a page is loading. So apart from the image, you can also have logo text. If you don't have an image or you don't feel like doing an image, you can just simply write the text. You can choose the logo text size. If you want to have a specific font, say from Google Fonts, you can just type it in here. This is an autocomplete field. You can also choose the font weight on a scale from 100 to 900, 900 being the most bold. You can also choose separately the same things for the slogan. So the slogan goes underneath the logo. You've got the size, the font, and the weight. To help you out there, here is a list of all available Google fonts from this link. Next, we're going to have a look at the info bar. A bit further down here on the layout tab. We'll expand that. So the info bar is a useful spot to put secondary information. It's not as important as the primary navigation, but you still want to have it up within the same sort of area, and you don't want to have to mess around with editing your theme, things like that. So this is specifically what it's designed. So you've got all this content and control in one spot. So first we can choose, by default, we have it turned off if we don't need it. If you do want to have it on, you can choose whether you want to put it above or below the main menu. And the next thing we choose is the stack, where we pull this content from, and I'll show you that in a second. And then the horizontal alignment, whether we want it on the right side or the left side, and how the font size is compared to the rest of the site. By default, it will just be 100%. So here we've got a stack that we're pulling from called info bar test. Let's have a look at that. Here is the info bar test stack. And I've simply got one block, which is a list of social links. This is one of the core blocks. You can add just about any core block that you'd want within reason. If you want to simply add text, you can do that, such as a phone number. If you want to do an image, that works as well. And this content, let's have a look where it goes. Just up here, next to the search. So this area between the Facebook icon and the language switch at the end, that whole area is the info bar. So the info bar is where you can add a stack for your own personalized content, as well as optionally choose to send certain widgets or tools to that particular area. In this case, I've got the search tool, the members menu, and the language switch also displayed in the info bar. In a later video about advanced content, I'll explain how to add the search, member, and language switch into that area. Okay, let's next look at adding manual links to your navigation menu. This is under the Insert tab, and then Insert Menu Link Simple. We've got two menu items that we can add at the start and at the end. You have already seen what the dynamic menu looks like, but if you want to add a other page anywhere from your site, such as further down, such as this resource 1, we can decide what the text is going to be, if we want to open a new window, if we want to show an icon next to it, and then choose Save. And there you go, you can see shop in there. We also happen to have a shop in the middle as well, but that's just an example. I'll remove that for now. You can link out to a file or an external URL as well. Once you turn that to none, those extra fields are automatically hidden, so it keeps the user interface clean and neat, and it doesn't show you stuff that you don't need. Further down are Insert Menu Items Advanced, which we'll cover in a later video. And the last part of this video, we're going to discuss the call to action feature. So this is another set of buttons that only goes in one particular spot, which is the extras area. In this case, we've got one example already set in there, a page with a link, the text buy now. We choose open in another window, and we've got an icon for it. And this is linking to a particular page on the website. You can link to any page that you choose. Once you've done that, you press save. You can have up to 2 call to action buttons if you want. If you would like a second one that says, let's just call it Google, and we're going to link out to Google. Press save. In this case, there's not quite enough room to put it all, so it's wrapped around to the second page. So keep that in mind, that when you start adding more and more of these links, how much space is available. By default, if it runs out of room, it's going to wrap around. In the case where you might not have a logo in that particular area, then you'll be more space to work with. So something to keep in mind. And there you have it. That's the basic menu content for Mega Menu. The next video will be talking more about basic menu styling, layout, and functionality. I look forward to seeing you there.